Awesome. Well, hello. Welcome to CubiCasa. My name is Eric Hackman, and I'm the director of our customer support and customer success departments here. And excited to meet with everybody today, and really appreciate Mike and the team for sponsoring this member benefit for Big Sky, bringing CubiCasa technology to you, and excited to share more information about the benefits of floor plans and the unique media that it brings to your listing, the technology, how it works, how to use it, and then open it up for Q&A. And we want you to leave today with as much information as possible about us, our offering, how the tech works, and how we can benefit you and support you as you start to use CubiCasa and incorporate it into your workflow. So with that, I'm going to kick things over to Joseph to introduce himself and then get started with the presentation.
Hello. Thanks, Eric. Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. My name is Joseph. I'm on our strategic partnerships team here at CubiCasa. So I oversee our MLS and other prop tech partnerships, and then work closely alongside Eric's team on the support and success side for the onboarding and sort of continued training of MLS members like yourselves. So today, I'll spend about 20 minutes or so with you walking through a few things. First and foremost, what CubiCasa actually is, why floor plans are important to your listings, what we offer as a member benefit as part of our partnership with your MLS. Then I'll toss it back over to Eric to walk through the member sign-up process and dive into the product itself a little bit deeper. So looking into the dashboard, all the sort of good stuff that you can actually do with the floor plans. And then to wrap things up, we'll of course leave time for Q&A. That being said, please feel free to use the Q&A or the chat functions within Zoom at any point during our time together today. We'll keep tabs on new messages as they come in, and you're more than welcome to shout something out as we're actually talking about it. So let me go ahead and get my screen shared here, and then we will kick things off. All right, so hopefully hold up. Perfect. Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
So CubiCasa has one main goal here in the US, and that's to bring a floor plan to every single real estate listing. So to start off, let's kind of talk about the why behind that and how we actually came to be. So here in the US, we are seeing a floor plan demand gap. So consumers, both on the buy side and the sell side, are asking for floor plans to be included on their listings. If we look at the market today, and I actually think it's less than 10%, but there's only about 10% of listings in the US that have a floor plan included. Now, this doesn't compare if you look at other countries, across the world. If you look into Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, floor plans are pretty much always included on real estate listings. And what's interesting is even here in the US, we see that divide too between the multifamily or rental space versus traditional real estate for sale. So when you're looking at rental properties, almost everyone that you look at is going to have floor plans included for the individual units. So we can already see that the value is there. We know that this is something that consumers are used to seeing on the rental side. How do we know that that value translates over to the for sale side of traditional real estate, and that floor plans are just as important there? Well, for that, we're going to look at the NAR Home Buyers and Sellers Survey. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. It's a report that comes out every year. And one of the questions that gets asked is what website features on a listing are considered the most valuable or most important. And what we can see is that floor plans are always the single most desired add-on to a listing for consumers. Of course, 1 and 2 are always going to be, the basic of all basics, the photos of the property and the detailed listing information. Those should be included with every single listing regardless. But next to that, floor plans are always that top spot. So the demand is there. And if you look at the results from this survey from, the past few years, they've remained very much unchanged. Floor plans always remain that top desired add-ons. And if you think of yourself as the potential buyer, so think back to your last buying experience, put yourself in the shoes of someone buying right now, post-COVID. Is that something that you would like to see included? I know for me it is. So I think back to my recent buying experience. The house I'm in now, I closed on at the end of 2021. And at that point, I hadn't been in the market to buy in about 6 or 7 years. And for like half of that time in between, I was in the multifamily space. So I was renting apartments. I was very used to seeing floor plans. That was essentially how I was picking my apartment ultimately. So when I started shopping again in 2021 to actually purchase, I was surprised by the lack of floor plans because, for the typical buyer who's coming from the rental space, it's such an important asset on that side of things. It should be just as important on the purchase side as well. This is, of course, a much bigger commitment than just signing a year-long lease at an apartment. And because these people are already used to seeing floor plans, it's just something that should be included with listings. Now, why do we see this as being so important? Well, floor plans give an easy way for buyers to quickly and easily understand a property's fit for their lifestyle, and it does so better than any other digital asset. So the reason we say that is if you are on a search portal, for example, you pull up a listing, you're kind of swiping through the photos. Essentially, you're learning about the property, room by room or piece by piece even. But when you look at a floor plan, you have that easy to view and understand quick kind of bird's eye glimpse into the entire property. So in one single, snapshot, you can see how big the rooms are. You can see the flow between the rooms. You can learn if your current furniture will fit. I always highlight, if you have random console tables or buffets that you're kind of debating where you're actually going to put, a floor plan is really a great way to kind of make sense of where all your furniture will go. And I think the most important piece here is that you'll learn if the property layout actually suits you and your family. So if you want the secondary bedrooms to be near the primary, for example, if you need a spare room kind of off the main action of the home that you want to use as a home office or maybe a guest space, a floor plan is going to be the best way to make sense of those types of questions and really understand the property. If you're just looking at photos of each room, that's of course helpful, but you can't really see how those rooms actually all fit together. And a floor plan is the best way to do that. So now that I've got you thinking about kind of floor plans in general, why should you add them to your listings? Well, there's 3 pieces that we like to highlight. The first one is that it's an easy way to stand out and win more listings. So by offering floor plans and really just better media in general in your listing presentations, you're going to be showing the potential client that you'll do everything in your power to market the listing as best as possible. And one of the examples that we're seeing from our current users is that when they are on site for the listing presentation, they'll actually do a scan of the property while they're there with a potential client. And then they'll get the floor plan back to them within 24 hours. And that's a great touch point to get back in touch with that potential client and say, hey, here's the floor plan that we created yesterday when I was on site. Here's how I would use this to actually market your property and make sure that we're getting really interested buyers through the doors and get the home sold. We also say that it allows you to generate more qualified buyers. So if we think about how COVID kind of shifted the home buying process over the past few years, a lot more of that process is happening online. So if we can give these potential home buyers all this additional great media, including floor plans, they'll be able to better understand the property and qualify it a little bit better before they contact either the listing agent or the agent that they're already working with directly to tour the home in person, because they're already familiar with the layout. They already know that it's going to work for what they're actually needing. And lastly, all of this put together, the more media that we're giving to these potential buyers, the better understanding they're going to have of the property. And ultimately, this is going to help to reduce the time on market. So we've talked about floor plans sort of in general and at a high level. How does that lead into what CubiCasa is? So to give you some background, we were founded about 9 years ago. And at that time, we were essentially a redraw service. So agents or photographers would send us a picture of, maybe a sketch that they had walked through the home, kind of sketching out each room and physically doing the measurements. It could be something from an old property listing that they wanted to have updated. And we were essentially redrawing the floor plans from those submissions. But what we wanted to do was A, modernize that process, but B, really broaden the scope of people who had access to actually create floor plans for the listings. So we recognized that we could use a tool that everybody has on them, all the time already, and that's their cell phone. So we started building out an app that would allow the user to very quickly and easily scan the property, which we would then process on our end into an accurate floor plan, including, of course, the room labels and room dimensions, and showing the detailed information about the layout of the home. Now, how does the app actually work? It's probably a little bit simpler than you might be thinking. So if you look at this image on the right-hand side, that essentially shows the steps that you'll take. So you'll open up the app, select that you want to start a new scan. You'll enter in and confirm the property address, and then begin the scan process, where you'll walk around the perimeter of each room in the home and scan the entire property. Only takes about 5 to 10 minutes for an average sized home. So right now, that average we're seeing is around 2,200 square feet, and the average scan time is around 6 minutes. So for me, the home that I mentioned before is about 1,800 square feet. And even with me moving very slowly as I was scanning, I made sure I scanned every pantry and closet, walked outside and scanned my garage, did all of that. It only took me about 5.5 minutes. So it's a very easy process, very quick. You don't need any sort of special equipment. So you don't need, an expensive 360 camera or anything like that. Just the phone in your pocket and the CubiCasa app. It'll work on both Apple and Android devices. So any devices from the last 7 or 8 years or so will work great. You definitely don't need to have the latest and greatest. One of the questions we get asked a lot is about the newer iPhone Pros that have LiDAR, which is the laser scanning. That does help to make things a little bit more precise, but it's definitely not necessary. We're actually using the AR kits in the phone, which have been prevalent, both Apple and Android, for the last 7 or 8 years or so. The last thing I like to highlight about the app is what I find most useful when scanning, and that's that you actually get in-app real-time feedback. So if you are moving too quickly, for example, if you get too close to a wall, you'll actually see this overlay pop up on the screen. It's like a red banner across the screen that tells you exactly what needs to be adjusted. So it helps to make the process as easy as possible for you as the scanner, but essentially it's making sure that you get the best possible scan, which will get you the most accurate and best possible floor plan in the end. So now let's take a look at a visual of how the app actually works, and I'll give you a glimpse into kind of what's happening underneath the hood as well. So I'm going to play this video. Hopefully it comes through clearly. I apologize if it's a little pixelated or blurry since it's streaming. But you'll see 3 separate views here. So on the top left, that's the view of the camera sort of in-app. So it's very similar to if you just opened up your camera app on your phone and were walking around taking a video of the property. That's what you'll see on screen. So these other 2 views you will not see as the user. This is just to kind of give you a glimpse into what's happening. So on the bottom left, you'll see what we're capturing in real time. This is where we're using those AR kits that I mentioned, the augmented reality, to create a point cloud, kind of measuring the distance between all these different points in the room. On the right-hand side, you'll see the full 3D digital footprint that we're creating of the property. So the green line that you see kind of walking through the home is the route that the person actually took through the home. And then if this is coming through, there's a red diamond or pyramid shape at the end that's actually capturing the camera's position. So that's the accelerometer information in the phone. If you can see this, it's actually kind of tilting and moving around, and you can see the exact position of the phone. Now, as you can see, we're producing something kind of similar to a 3D tour, but it's just using your cell phone. And because you'll scan the entire property, including these outdoor spaces like you see here, it allows us to create an accurate floor plan. Now it's going to pull up the result here, and I'm going to pause so we can take a look at the actual floor plan from that scan. So this home is around 1,200 square feet. The video was sped up a little bit. They weren't running through the house, but the actual scan only took about 3 minutes for this property. Now, as you can see, it's pretty simple, right? It's basically a rectangle property with some squared off rooms. You'll notice those 2 outdoor spaces here on the left side and along the bottom are included. This particular example has fixed furniture as well. So here in the kitchen, you will see the location of the appliances and the counters. And then in the bath spaces, you'll see the toilets, vanities, sinks, all that sort of good stuff. Now, as I mentioned, this is a pretty simple property, right? It's mostly squared off rooms. But the app will work on high-end and complex properties as well. So this example here is clearly pretty non-traditional. It includes a pool and a separate dwelling in the backyard off of the main home. So in cases like this, there's no need to worry about those angled walls or crazy measurements. All of the hard work is going to be handled by us in the actual scan process, and you'll get an accurate floor plan at the end. This will include any outdoor features or separate dwellings as well, as long as they're included and captured in that one single scan. So in this example here, they would have walked through the main property of the home, stepped outside without pausing or scanning or stopping, scanned the perimeter of the pool, walked over to this separate dwelling, whether it be a pool house or whatever, and scanned the interior of that as well. Now, what that's doing is capturing all of that in one single scan. So those distances between these pieces, the main home, the pool, and that separate dwelling, are all captured true to life. The reason I highlight that is if you have a detached garage or a workshop or something that's on the property, but kind of way off the main home, sometimes it does make sense to do those as separate scans, just because the empty space in between will be captured if you're doing that as one single scan. But for the most part, everything that you'll include in your floor plan will be processed as one single scan. And the same is true for multi-story properties. So this is just a one-story home here, but you only need one single scan for multi-story properties. So we recommend starting in the basement or lowest level, scanning the entire level without pausing or stopping. Again, you'll walk up the stairs, scan the staircase as you go, do the next level, and so on. And the app and scanning process will work great even if you're looking to make a footprint of a home. So this is a home in Pennsylvania. It's a shoe or a boot, whichever you would call it, that you can rent out on Airbnb. This floor plan was submitted to us by a real estate photographer in our network. And it's a great example of how, different, unique, and diverse properties can be across the country, and how we're able to capture and create floor plans for just about anything. So what do you get as part of our MLS partnership with Big Sky Country? You'll get access to as many basic floor plans as you can create for free. As I mentioned before, our goal is to get a floor plan on every listing across the US. And since we've already partnered with your MLS, we'd love to help make this a little bit more of a standard practice for new listings. The free floor plan is a great basic option for both agents and photographers if you're having somebody on site to actually shoot the property. The floor plan will, of course, include the room dimensions and labels, as you'll see here in this example on the left-hand side. It's going to include the gross internal area as well, and it will be turned around within 24 hours of you submitting the scan. Any outdoor spaces will be included in this version as well. So porches, decks, anything that's actually captured as part of the scan will be included, up to 5,000 square feet of scanned area. Now, in this example here on the left-hand side, you'll see there is a deck along the top here and a porch along the bottom. Those were processed as part of the scan, so they will, of course, be included in the end result. You'll also have the option to do some customization. So you can change up the room names, the colors, and all that good stuff we'll take a look at in just a second here. Now, on top of this basic kind of entry-level floor plan, there are a number of optional paid add-ons that you can choose from on an a la carte basis. So the first one here is the fixed furniture, which is our most popular add-on. This is where you'll see things like appliances, cabinets in the kitchen, and the bathroom fixtures like tubs, toilets, and sinks. The next step here is the GLA appraisal floor plan. We'll take a closer look at this in a second, but this gives you the gross living area of the property. So this is great for any appraisers on the call. It will give you a single document that you can save out as a PDF and upload to your appraisal software. You can also choose a faster turnaround time. So I mentioned the free floor plan will be turned around within 24 hours. If you're looking to get all of your photos and details put together right away so you can get your listing on the market, we can finalize your floor plan in 6 hours. And lastly, I mentioned the free floor plan will cover up to 5,000 square feet, including any exterior areas. So anything above that does include a $10 charge, just due to the increased production cost. Now, something to note here is that all the prices you see listed are the standard rates. So as part of our partnership with Big Sky Country, you'll see an MLS sponsored discount on all of these prices. So moving into some of those additional things that I said we would take a closer look at. The first one here is the GLA, or the Gross Living Area Report. So we're able to deliver consistent GLA results that are aligned to ANSI standards. The floor plan image itself and the actual area calculations will all be included in one single report, which you'll see in this example here on the right-hand side. It gives everything that you need. So it will include the non-livable areas, think, storage or non-heated areas, and will include the overall exterior dimensions. So it's perfect for any appraisers that we have on the call today. And then something else I wanted to touch on was the customization. So this is something that you can do on both the basic free floor plans and those with add-ons as well. So you don't need to stick with the simple black and white floor plans like the examples that we've looked at thus far. You can actually customize each one. So whether you choose to go with, a pre-made color template that we have available, or come up with something on your own, you can also adjust the room labels as well. So if you prefer like the living room, for example, to be called the family room or the great room, or the primary bedroom to be called, the primary suite, all of that can be adjusted in just a couple of clicks. You can also upload a logo. So if you want to use your broker logo and adjust the colors to match your broker branding, you can absolutely do so. This is great for things like Facebook marketing, or if you want to include something on like a one-pager at your open house, please feel free to go crazy, customizing it however you like. But be sure that you save out a version that follows your MLS rules that you will actually upload to the listing itself. You can save out multiple versions. So I always recommend having, the basic simple one that you download for the MLS, and then customizing one that you can save for your marketing materials. In this example here on the right-hand side, this is one of our pre-made templates. I think this is actually our most popular one right now, which is earth tones. So you'll see we've got the bedrooms in this clay or peach type color. All of the common areas are in tan, and then the bathrooms or wet spaces are in green. So it just helps to kind of further enhance that simple high-level view and understanding of the layout of the property. So if you remember a few minutes ago, I mentioned if you're looking for like an office space or a guest space that's kind of off the main action of the home, looking at this floor plan would be a great example of that. And I could quickly tell just based on the color scheme that this bedroom area in the top left of the floor plan would be great for that dedicated space because it's kind of off the main action of the home. Now, we know that you guys have busy schedules, so the good news is that we already work with a number of photographers that include our floor plans as part of their photo packages. So we are working on building out our photography network in Montana right now, and our preferred partners will be shared with your MLS, and eventually you will be able to see them in the app as well. Now, I know this may seem like a lot of things that you can do and things that you may need help with. I'm going to toss it back over to Eric real quick, just because that's his wheelhouse to cover some details on our customer and MLS support.
Yeah, thanks, Joseph. Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory based on what we've got up here on the page. We are available to help you if you need help. We've got team members staggered all across the globe, a handful here in the U.S., Brazil, Italy, Finland, and Vietnam. So our coverage is staggered. We're available. We're even available on the weekends. So a little bit of reduced coverage on the weekends, but 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd say the fastest and easiest way to get hold of us is using the chat function. It's a little chat widget or bubble on the app itself or on our website. It is not a robot. They're all people. They're all my team members, and they're really good at what they do. Haven't seen a question that stumped them yet. So please exercise those options. And then we've got a dedicated email channel for you as well, which is mlshelp@cubicasa.com. And that's strictly for our MLS partners, and that's responded to very quickly. So please don't hesitate to lean on us if you have any questions. You know, quite a bit of the learning curve comes with just using the app itself. And I promise you, once you try it, you'll start getting used to it pretty quickly. But in the meantime, we're here to help you if you need it. So
awesome. Thank you, Eric. So moving into next steps for you. In a few minutes, we'll go through the sign up process that you'll use to create your account. But essentially, you'll just click through your MLS dashboard to create the account. From there, you'll be able to download the app for both Apple and Android devices and start scanning. Once you've finished a scan, you'll be able to download the floor plan in a number of different file types. So we'll take a look at this, but you'll see both image and PDF versions available for you to download and upload directly to your new listings from there. So that gives you a glimpse into, who we are, what we do, and how you'll actually use CubiCasa to enhance your listings. I've pulled up my contact info here for any team leaders on the call. If you'd like to schedule, a dedicated training or overview for your brokerage, or even explore some broker level options, please feel free to get in touch with me directly. I'm happy to set something like that up. For now, I'm going to turn things back over to Eric to guide you through that sign up process. You can get started today, and then take a closer look at the product itself and some of the tools and features that you can use moving forward.
Yeah, thanks, Joseph. And there's been a couple of questions that have popped up in the meeting chat, one of which was about the sign up. So I'm going to post a unique link. This should be in your dashboard, on Big Sky's dashboard, that you would click through to get to the CubiCasa landing page to set up your account. And it's going to pre-populate some information about your MLS so that you're getting your 25% discount. I'm going to post it here as well, but it should exist as a tile on the dashboard at Big Sky's website. So I just posted it right there. And it's a very basic and easy sign up process. We'll go through that here in just a minute. But I appreciate everybody being active in the chat. Let's get some other questions here. Create your account. Yeah, select Big Sky. Yep. Yeah. And if you click through that link that I posted, or the link on Big Sky's website, it should pre-populate your MLS listed there already. So you would just create your credentials and it should pre-populate. Otherwise, it's a search function that you can enter in characters and it will recognize what you're looking for. So many of us are also members of other MLSs. How can we use CubiCasa on other MLSs? So the beauty of it is, once you've added your discount, you are going to have access to use that on any scan that you use. So it's going to apply to anything that you complete in your profile. You're going to get that 25% member discount on anything purchased outside of the free product that we offer. It's a good question. And you can add other MLS partnerships. We partner with another MLS in Montana. So essentially, if when you add your affiliation, it's going to take the higher of the two discounts and automatically apply it. So if one's 10 and the other's 25, you're going to get 25. It doesn't matter if you add both of them or not. We'll acknowledge the higher of the two. Good questions. I don't know if I missed anything else in here. There was a question from Ann about, well, will this option include the GLA at no additional cost? And I apologize, Ann, I don't know what was on the screen at that time, but I can just give you a quick rundown of the product breakout. Essentially, we've got the free product, which is, we consider the listing, basic marketing floor plan. Then we have the purchased upgraded product. One is the fixed furniture. So that's going to have all the built-ins, appliances, windows, which direction the doors open, your range, your islands, things like that. That's $15. And then we've got the appraisal grade ANSI aligned GLA floor plan, which is also $15. So those are those are the separate offerings. Hopefully that answered your question, Ann. Oh, great. Perfect. We did. Excellent. How soon will the recording be sent out? I'll send it. It takes about 20 minutes for it to process after this call, and then I'll share that out with Mike and the team. I'm assuming that it might be posted somewhere on the website, but yeah, I'll share that out. And if anybody, Don, if you want me to send it out direct to you, I can give you access to it as well. So, all right, good questions. And listen, we encourage you to interrupt, raise a hand. If there's something in the moment while we're presenting that you have questions on, please interrupt us. We want this to be interactive. So, oh, good question, Ann. If we've already signed up, how do we add our MLS? Let's do that right now. Bear with me. I'll screen share and I'll show you how to do it. And it's really easy to do. You just need to log in to, once you've created an account, log into CubiCasa and go into your order settings. Joseph, can you give me a thumbs up when you see the screen? Good to go.
We're good.
All right. Beautiful. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like when you log into your account for the first time. So this is your basic dashboard view. I'm going to answer the specific question, and then we can kind of go over high level what the different features are here. So if you already have an account and you want to add an affiliation, go to settings, and you'll see a tab up here at the top that says MLS memberships. So essentially, that's exactly where you go. Settings, MLS memberships, and then you can add. And like I said, you can type anything here. So we already have Big Sky added, but you can see that there's just type in, pull up one of yours, and it'll add, basically add the membership from there. So really easy to do. I will tell you, and this is going to be jumping back to the sign up process. If you don't see this MLS membership tab being available, there's a real easy way to make that accessible to you. You go into the general tab and you change your customer type, which is basically like your profile. And I know this might not be specific to everybody, but for the purposes of our MLS partnerships, we utilize agent and appraiser as the two customer types that will access your discount percentage. So you just select one of those two if you don't see this MLS membership tab, and then it will show up. So that might sound like a mouthful, but I've printed a copy of the sign up process that I'll share with Mike and the team for him to add to the website. But it's pretty easy to do. But this is how you go about doing it if you already have an existing account with CubiCasa. And if you have any issues and don't want to do this at all, just reach out to my team and they'll add it for you. You just need your basic information on what email address you use to log in, and then we can go in and add it for you. Good questions. Well, good deal. Well, while we're here, let's take a look at the dashboard. So this is basically a high-level overview of what it looks like when you log into the website. If you've had any orders completed in the past 30 days, they're going to show up right at the top. Otherwise, your recent orders will be down here at the bottom. And then you've got your basic billing info on the right-hand side. So this is going to tell you what your current balance is and when the due date is. We charge you, it's the same date each day of the month. If you're using more than just the free product, and you'll see that right on the login page. But let's take a look at what an order looks like when you get a notification of a completed scan. So let's say you do your scan. Within 24 hours, you're going to get an email notification that your report's ready to be viewed or downloaded. So it'll prompt you to log into the website, and then you just click on the address that you're looking at. So once you've clicked onto that, you're going to see essentially the renderings based on the capture that you completed right here on the page. So this is where you've got some options on how you want to download and what deliverable you're looking for as far as the output that we provided. You've got an option to just do, and hopefully everyone can see this. This is just a basic floor plan layout with basic measurements here, with both floors captured on the same space. So this was the basement and the main level. and you've got your totals down here. So you've got that option, or if you're choosing to do the appraisal grade version, you'll see the click through for the GLA floor plan. So you're going to have access to both of these regardless. If you purchase the GLA floor plan, you're going to have access to both. But this is where you click through to decide which of the two that you'll want to download. And you've got a couple different ways to download it, right? So when I click through, you can download it here. You got a little download box. Or if you want to go down to about middle way through the page, you're going to see some different file format options to choose from. So you've got PGN, JPEG, or SVG file. And then if you're ordering the appraisal package, you can download that in a PDF format. So you've got options here, depending on what you prefer, or what, say, some folks have different website requirements with photo carousel and how the images get uploaded, but these are pretty much the ones that you would want to choose from. But really, really simple. So yeah, and then you've got a home report. I don't know if you've taken a look at these or not, but it's essentially capturing just some basic information about the property, really kind of what's around the property, adding total number of windows, bedrooms, bathrooms. So basic overall room count information. And of course, it won't generate why I'm sitting here showing it to you, but that's okay. This is what happens with technology. So, so we'll just scroll back here. Oh, here it is. You just have to threaten to walk away from it, and then it delivers. So yeah, so just some basic information, and we call this our home report. I know this is going to get a makeover in the coming months with a lot more information. I'm really pushing for the room dimensions to be included, because we know that's one of the features within the listings that tend to go not filled out all that often. So we feel like there'd be some value add here, adding this information to the report itself. But it's a cool little snapshot view of the floor plan itself and some basic information about the property. And like you've got different room counts here on this page. So yeah, that is the home report. And let me go back to the desktop view. All right. You still see the screen, Joseph? Good. All right, perfect. Okay, so yeah, this is where you get your deliverables. So it's always going to be that front page dashboard. You got ways to do quick deliveries, pull these out, like as far as download goes. But fix request is the next one that we want to talk about. So the beauty of our tool is you have a lot of options to make edits yourself. We have a function called the quick edit tool, which is going to allow you to go into the deliverable yourself and make some changes if you feel like you want to adjust things. Like room labels is probably the most common request as far as things that the users want to change themselves. The beauty of our tool is our AI will recognize the rooms based on the space and fixtures within it and pre-label everything for you. So you're going to get a floor plan back with all of those room labels already populated there. But in the case that you want to change how something is named, you have the ability to go into this tool and do it yourself. So it's pretty user friendly. I'd suggest just going in and checking it out yourself. But you can adjust the floors, which one you want to focus on, and then the different options, which I primarily, like I said, room labels is the most commonly changed. All you do is click on this space. You're going to get this drop down that you see in the upper right hand corner, and then the ability to make the changes from here. So very, very simple. The only thing that I'd ask that you do is when you save, or make sure you save, and it's going to take a couple of minutes to re-render the floor plan. So really easy to do these fixes yourself. But I would suggest going in there and taking a look if that was something that interests you. Otherwise, we can help you do it. There's a here you go. Floor plan is ready. There's a way for us to do this for you. And let me jump back out of the screen. All right. So if you don't want to do it yourself, you've got the ability to just go on the order that you referenced and hit make a fix request. So this is going to prompt my team to handle this for you. So essentially, you'll just be asked some very high level questions, like what the issues pertain to, and then what it is. We're going to prompt you to take a look at some articles that we've written if you want to try to do this yourself. Otherwise, we're just going to ask you for information on what it is you'd like us to do with the property. So keeping that in mind, if you do fix requests, just plan on providing some evidence of what it is that you'd like us to do. So if it's changes to the floor plan, like being able to reference it is going to save some back and forth. So, all right. So that's high level fix request. The other thing that I want to show you is the ability to customize. So this is one of the cool features about CubiCasa is you can put some style and flair to your deliverables yourself with customization of the floor plan. So under the settings, you'll see the styling tab here. Essentially what you can do is kind of create either, say you want to use the same style format for all of your deliverables going forward. You would just come in here and basically create a style. So we'll say Eric style. And you've got some basic information here around like how you want to see the language read. So English with primary denotation means the primary bedroom, as opposed to calling it master, it will say primary. So I would say either use this or English is going to have the master label for the bedrooms. If you choose metrics, the metric system, you have the option to have your room dimensions read in metric or imperial. Most people default to imperial, but I mean, if this gives you an idea of kind of the level of customization that you can have for your floor plan, you're going to find it here. You have the ability to add logos if your MLS approves something like that. You can upload your logos here. Pretty easy to do. So it's just download it right off your desktop. And then you've got the ability to change the different spaces to different colors. So if you want the bathrooms in blue and the bedrooms in red, all of that takes place here. So you can really get, pretty sophisticated with your outputs here, and just under the styling tab itself. The most important piece I feel here is the disclaimer at the bottom of the page. What this will default to is just our CubiCasa default stating measurements are calculated by CubiCasa technology, deemed highly reliable, but not guaranteed. That's what will default to the page. You have the ability to adjust this to whatever you feel is necessary, or protect you in a way that you feel protected. Just know that you can have the ability to do this under the styling tab yourself. And then default some of your other your order options. So in future orders, it would default to using total scanned area or the GLA versus gross internal area. So these are just the way that the totals on the square footage will calculate and sum up at the bottom of the page. All of those settings are within this tab here under styling. So I'd suggest going in and taking a look after your first scan and know that you've got some options to customize this and make it yours. So, so I'm going to pause for a minute, and I haven't looked to see if there are questions popped up. Joseph, I don't know if you had seen anything on here or not.
Nope, I'm keeping tabs. Nothing's come up
Just
yet.
send the recording. Gotcha, Don. We'll take care of that. But let's open it up to Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? How the tech works, best practice videos. We have tons and tons of videos on YouTube. We have our own dedicated YouTube page that you can go and look for videos on best practices, the do's and don'ts, how to do custom styling. There's tutorials there. If you don't feel comfortable going on and just fumbling around through it yourself, we've got tons of easily digestible short videos on YouTube that you can search on our channel. Videos talking about the MLS partnership, all kinds of different things, lots of great content. Perfect. Thanks, Joseph. And one of the other things I think is worth mentioning, and I'll post it here, is the list of supportable devices. So if you think about, and this is, the last model of phone that we support, it goes back as far as like the iPhone 8. And then we have a laundry list of supported devices in the Android space. I will post the article here, but I think you're going to see that we support just about everything. And if you do not see your phone on this list, all you need to do is reach out to my team. You can use the MLS help at CubiCasa.com email box, and we can get you set up on our beta program. It's a pretty easy process to do, but don't fret. Most, if not every phone model from the past 10 years is on this list. But if you happen to not find your, just reach out and let us know, and we'll get you plugged into our beta program. Awesome. Any other questions? See what else popped up. What is the Big Sky MLS rate before the discount on each property? Okay, good question, Robin. So, there's a couple more that came through. So, each of our add-on products. So we've got the free basic marketing floor plan, then we've got the fixed furniture product, and then we've got the appraisal aligned GLA product. Before the discount, you've got free for the free marketing floor plan, $15 for the fixed furniture, and $15 for the appraisal aligned floor plan. And then obviously you're going to get your 25% discount on top of that. And just a reminder, this is a per use service. We don't charge subscription fees. There are no monthly commitments. It's as you need it, right? So we've tried to make this as easy as possible. But yes, it's $15 for each purchased add-on outside of the free offering, and then you'll get an additional 25% off of that. So pretty aggressive discount. We've tried to make this as consumer friendly as possible, I think. And please note, you get one free upgraded version of our product offering just for signing up. So you can try that GLA or fixed furniture floor plan for free after you've created the account. One's free. So just a note, because I know some folks have asked questions on this in the past. We do require a credit card on file after the first scan. And there's a reason for this. So even if you use just the free floor plan, that's great. As long as the total scanned area is under 5,000 square feet, there are no charges. If it goes above 5,000 total square feet scanned area, then there's a $10 charge. And it's just to cover our production costs. You're still going to get a 25% discount off of that. But if you're wondering why it's asking for a credit card, think of it like a placeholder in a hotel. So if you're not going to eat or drink anything out of the mini fridge, you won't be charged. But think of the mini fridge as over 5,000 square feet total scanned area. And just some perspective, our average property total scanned area is just over 4,000. So the overwhelming majority of these, if you're going to only use the free option, are going to be under that 5,000 square feet anyways. But there's a reason why that's the reason why we require the credit card on file. All right, let's see some of the other questions that came through. Do we pay directly for upgrades or to the MLS? It's direct to us. Yep. And that under that profile setting, you'll see the ability to adjust your billing information, and it will all be in there. Or you can add the credit card as you choose which credit card you want, and validate that you're going to get your 25% discount under that MLS tab. And if you're having any issues with that, please reach out to my team and we'll help take care of it. All right. Kathy said, does CubiCasa use data storage on the phone to scan or send a scan such that it would not work if your phone is very low or unavailable data storage? Good question. So Kathy, in this scenario, we only use the space on your phone until you upload the order to CubiCasa. So you'll do the scan, and if you, let's say you're in an area that doesn't have good cell service, so this is a good one to touch on. You don't have to have cell service to be successful using our tool. You don't. You can use it in airplane mode. Quite honestly, I usually suggest doing that because I get push notifications from other apps on my phone. and phone calls that can be distracting. I don't like the noise while I'm doing scans. I put it in airplane mode. So please note you don't have to have appraisal coverage or appraisal, excuse me, internet coverage to do a scan. You do need to have either a Wi-Fi signal or cell signal to deliver the scan to us. So let's talk about that time in between, because I think this is where your question comes into play, Kathy, is that it will save to your phone in that instance until you get on a Wi-Fi or cell signal and deliver it to us. Once you deliver it to us, it gets purged from your phone. So unless you're going out and doing a lot of scans and choosing to not deliver them to us after you do it, then it might be a concern, but we typically compress the video down to like a low resolution anyways, so that it isn't taking up a ton of storage. Good question. Let's see, a couple more have come through. Thanks for joining us, Robin. How many megabytes is an average scan? It's a good question, Kathy. I know a couple of things play into this, like what kind of device you have. So those of us with the newer Apple phones with the LiDAR technology Joseph talked about, that's collecting a lot of data. So those tend to be larger. What the average size is, I don't know. I would be surprised if it was in the double digits as far as megabytes go, based on the compression that takes place. But I can find out and get back to you. But I would say scans resulting in impacts to your phone storage, I haven't heard of any issues at all since I've been here over the past 2 years, because of the compression. And quite honestly, it's really, once you send it to us, it's purged from your phone anyway, so it tends to not really be impactful at all. All right. Great questions. Any other questions? I will suggest that giving this a go before you go out to property, try it on your house. You'll get used to how the in-app real-time warnings work, like what triggers them, what makes them fire. And just because you're getting warnings doesn't mean you're going to have failed scale. Quite honestly, the overwhelming majority of our scans are successful, and that's the beauty of this product. And not having to be tech savvy to have success, is our tech, even with bad scanning technique, is still able to process and deliver a report. It's less than 1% of all of our scans, and we're doing right now averaging like 50,000 a month. Less than 1% end up in failure, and that typically always has to do with the user technique. So like if you do the scan and the phone's in your pocket the entire time, that's probably not going to work, right? But yeah, no, if you follow the in-app warnings and try to follow some of the best practices, you're going to have success using this, and that's the beauty of the technology. Do we have any other questions pop up? Have you experienced any resistance in regards to privacy of the client's home and belongings? Quite honestly, no, because the majority of our scan capture is focused on the floor and where the floorboard meets the floor. We're only really panning up to capture things like fixed furniture and appliances and windows. So it's, we're based on our capture process and where we're focused at. We're not really looking, we're not panning up on the mantle and grabbing, stills of the family photos or anything like that. And then on top of that, our file compression, is capturing it in a really low resolution. So there's not much to take from there. Really good question. So, but we don't sell any of the scan data. So it's not part of our business model. A scan capture process is simply for the production of the drawing and the rendering of the floor plan. Good question though. Anything else? Did I miss any others? I appreciate everybody's participation, and it's always good when we're asking questions. We want you to leave with feeling comfortable about the product. And this won't be the last time we talk. We're hoping to do a couple more of these member webinars for Big Sky But we please leverage the communication portal that we shared with you. Our team is happy to help. We want to talk to you, and we're here. We're here to support you as you try this. But I promise you, try it one time. You'll realize that this thing is magic. It's unbelievable the output it produces based on a simple walkthrough of the home. We're excited about it. We hope you are. But it's a great product and really, really easy to use. So we're excited that Mike and the team brought us over to you, and looking forward to the partnership. Well, good deal. Joseph, anything to add in closing? Otherwise, we'll send everybody on their way.
I don't think so. I think just an extension of Liz's question, something to note is that there can be furniture in the home, right? It can be a lived-in home. As that video of the scanning process we saw, that was clearly a lived-in home. There was, furniture, children's toys. So just something high level to note. It does not need to be a vacant house that you're walking through and scanning. It can absolutely be a lived-in home with furniture. If they're packing up, there's boxes everywhere. That is totally fine. The scanning process will still work the same, and you'll still get a great floor plan in the end. So,
yeah, great point, Joseph. I would say the overwhelming majority of the scans that we do are fully furnished homes. So that is no issue to us, as long as you can see some of the wall and the floorboard, right? So make sure you're panning up every now and again to capture the space around you. But I'd say the overwhelming majority of the properties we scan are fully furnished. So good questions. Well, great to meet you. Thank you for having us. We're really excited about the partnership, and please don't hesitate to reach out to my team if you have any questions. All right. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.